a question that I get asked every time, no matter what, is what's the catch? We don't charge any splits. We don't charge any fees. And so, when something's free, especially in real estate, it's often too good to be true. And so I want to address that skepticism and just, take maybe 90 seconds to explain, how we can do that. If you think about what Robinhood did in the financial services industry, before Robinhood, you had Schwab and E-Trade. If you wanted to buy or sell a stock, you got stuck with flat rate fees every time. And if you didn't have a lot of capital, those would eat you up, if you only had a couple $100 profit. So, and then Robinhood came in and they said, no fees, no commissions, and the industry had to follow suit. So we're trying to be just as disruptive in real estate.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I'm joined by someone I'm looking forward to chatting with. His name's Sam, and he's making serious moves in the real estate brokerage space, especially when it comes to how they work with investors. Sam, glad to have you here, man.
Micah, appreciate your time.
Absolutely. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you're approaching, especially a real estate brokerage, working with investors and capitalizing on a time where the economic situation may need to get deals a little bit skinnier. So let's dive in. So first off, for people who may not be familiar with your world, give us the short version. What's your main focus these days?
Absolutely. So I'm the founder and principal broker of the Homestead Group. We are a real estate brokerage currently based in Nashville, Tennessee, licensed in Tennessee and Alabama. Georgia will be our next state, and we have a 6-state expansion plan for 2026, which is right around the corner. And in a nutshell, we don't charge any commission splits or brokerage fees of any kind whatsoever for real estate agents. And that has implications all the way down to the client, the investor, and everyone in between. We save money for folks from top to bottom.
That's what caught my attention in our pre-recording talk was how you're approaching that. As someone who got started in the industry as a realtor years ago, those things start to add up a lot as time goes by. So what exactly have y'all been doing to keep that running smooth and help agents and investors do better in this environment?
Yeah, it's tough and it's tricky. And I tell you, just a bit of background. I started with Keller Williams and then switched over to EXP and learned a lot of great things between the two companies, for sure. But when I was with EXP, I would get charged a broker review fee on top of my splits. I would get charged a risk management fee on top of my Arizona emissions insurance and $100 tech fees and office fees, even though it's a cloud brokerage. And I always assumed that there were expenses on the back end that I just wasn't privy to as an agent. And so when I hit the 3-year eligibility to get my principal broker's license and start our own firm, I got to peek behind the curtain per se, and I found out that the only expenses really are self-inflicted in terms of brick and mortar costs that aren't necessary after COVID, or top heavy management, just having more folks than you need on um, roles and positions. And so we started this thing to be lean from the get go.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And people are hurting these days. This economy is not what it was. I've been in this business for about 5 years now. And so this is my first legitimate market shift. And we're having to go with it. When I first got in and got my feet up under me, it took me about a year to really understand how to be a successful agent. And I think in 2021, closed 40 something deals. And, it's night and day. Landowners, I think there's a greater opportunity on the acquisition side for properties for investors than when the market's hot. Folks are just in a greater need for money. And, the issue is on the B2C side of it, the selling half of the transaction, where you got to be more aggressive and competitive. But honestly, as long as you're getting a good price on the A to B side, I think you can compensate with it, especially on lower price properties with just superior marketing and working with somebody that's really going to go over the top and get the exposure and engagement and traffic that you need, the eyeballs to sell something.
So let's get a little deeper dive there into exactly how you're positioning this brokerage that you've started and equipping agents and even yourself to be successful in these tougher environments. What's that look like on the day to day?
Yeah. So the first things first, you need to get your floor lower in terms of your fixed costs and your expenses that you're going to pay no matter what. Because sometimes when the market's slow, like, survival is the name of the game. That's the ugly truth to this. And, we don't require agents to be members of realtor associations at the state, national, or local level. That's another $500 in your pocket. 20% splits, paying $15,000 a year. We don't have any of that. We're actually in the process of starting a sister brokerage to where you don't have to be a member of an MLS if you don't want to. And we have to start a completely new company for that, because the way the MLSs are set up, if you as a broker are a member, then they require all of your agents to be members, and they have all the reciprocity set up. So we're creating a sister brokerage with an identical model to where, if, let's say, you're a builder and you just want to basically be a glorified for sale by owner, but you want to be able to market your properties and have the license, you can do that in a bare bones way. And we can offer you a way to market your properties and be a licensed agent as an alternative to retirement, and be one step away from, inactive. And I find a lot of folks that I'm working with on the development side of things, and our agents that are joining, who are investors first and agents second. They're not making this their top priority. They don't want to brand themselves as a realtor. They just want to be able to have that credential when the time comes that they need to use it. So we're a good space for those kind of people in particular.
So is that your main agent type? Is they're starting as investors first and then adding the realtor side second?
That's who we seem to be attracting here lately, especially as we're getting more traction. We've got 19 agents currently. We publicly launched September 18th. And so we're a couple months old as far as that goes. We started this company in November of 2024, spent the majority of this year getting everything straight with the tech and the back end and the systems, making sure we were prepared to scale and grow as needed. But yeah, I think our company makes the most sense for people who are independent, that don't want to work as an employee. They want to run their own business, have the support needed, of course, um, but not be micromanaged and function as an independent contractor. I've worked places where um, they require, office hours and quotas and whatnot, and we're open ended. We want you to be able to run your business as you see fit, and we're providing a platform where you can do that more affordably than anywhere else out there. Um, so yeah,
It's true how much those fees add up. And what I think is interesting is that client type you're attracting first. Because in our world, mostly real estate investors that we're around, realtors are kind of a second thought that you deal with, and they become a part of your business that can have a sizable bottom line to it or a sizable fee to it that's taken away from your bottom line. And like we are talking about in skinny environments. So I think it's cool that you're creating something really for a niche type of agent where they're not the agent first. They're that investor first that's going to leverage this other tool without having to have all the fluff that goes with it.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
right. And Micah, you talk about getting skinny, and something that I've done with our agents, and that I've tried to practice and pass along from my experiences with investors. I work primarily with lands. My family's in the timber industry in Alabama, and so that's what I grew up with, and that's what I'm comfortable with, and it's what I like. I'm passionate about it. Is when a deal does get skinny towards the end of a transaction, and the investor's trying to figure out how to make it make sense, and let's say that the commission we have set is 3%. Well, if the purchase price comes out to where 3% would be 10 grand for me, commission as the agent, and the investor only stands to, let's say they'll net $8,000. I'm never going to make more money off of a deal than the investor. So what we will do is we'll just split the cost, and we'd make that 9 and 9. Or if I were to make 10 and the agent were to make 4, we'd do 7 and 7. And I think that puts folks at ease, and offers some peace of mind, and just lets them know that, like, we're relationship first with investors. Like, I don't want like choppy short-term one and done deals. Like, that's with your typical residential clients. And, if you're lucky, you'll get some repeat business 7 years down the road. But if somebody's good to work with and the fundamentals make sense, then we really need to focus on whatever it takes to get something done and keep moving forward. And in this economy, I try to shoot for at least 50% of our deals closing. I prefer 66. Once we get too far below the 50% mark, it kind of starts to not make sense for either one of us, agent or investor. But um, yeah, we just vet pretty heavily on the front end, and try to sniff out any issues that could arise, in a transaction along the way. And you come across so many, gosh, but when there's title issues, or a squatter on the property, or, I mean, you name it, just after you do enough volume, you start to kind of have an eye for that kind of stuff, unexpected. So
Now, what makes someone that out of the 19 that you have, who's really just taken off with it and it's really made sense in their business? What's that look like in their world?
sure. Yeah. So we've got one agent in particular. Her name is Kaylee Dunn. She's a commercial agent based out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, Wilson County. It's county adjacent to Nashville. So you got Davidson and then Wilson. And so it's growing really fast. She used to run her own brokerage, and she was thinking about starting up another one. And honestly, for any agents or investors that are thinking about doing this yourselves, um, I would recommend, if you want to have that organization and have that platform and that leadership, just start a team and run it like a brokerage. Or we would be open to franchising or a branch, you name it. Let us deal with the liability. and you can build out everything that you would as your own firm without having to deal with the state and the commission, the real estate commission, and all that. So she's done well, but that's because she's already had all of her stuff in place to hit the ground running. We're attractive to new agents because when you're new, those exorbitant fees, they add up and they hurt more. But we really need people to start teams, and we need teams that are already in existence elsewhere to come on board so they can offer those agents the support that they need. And, you can charge for it. But uh, as quickly as we're growing and scaling, I do office hours every day. I'm always available. I'll pick up my phone no matter what. But in terms of like the hand holding that an agent really needs, what we've done thus far is I will spoon feed a deal to a new agent when it's in their market and it makes sense, and we can work together on it. I'm a hands-on learner. Most people are. I sat through I don't know how many training courses and tutorials and presentations at Keller Williams, but when it came time and push came to shove, and I got a contract in front of me, I was like, "What do you do?"
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And so what we do and what's worked wonders, I need to talk about Connor as well. He's kind of the other end of the spectrum. So Kaylee was already built out, knew what to do from A to Z. Connor had never done a deal before, Connor Parks. He was an agent in Utah, and he moved to Nashville, and he just got licensed, and I think he's done, I have to check the count, but I mean, he's probably at 12 deals this year, never having done any before. And what kickstarted that was I took a listing and I co-listed it with him. And, you got to trust, and it has an element of risk for us. But honestly, like they walk the property with me. I show them how to use the drone, the angles to take, the editing, the lighting, just make sure you get the frontage, make sure you bring flag and tape and mark the corners, and look at the local amenities and how far are you from the hospitals, and you name it, right? And I show them what to look for on the paperwork and the restrictions and the tax records and the flood zones and the topography and all that. And then I have them draft up the listing agreements and the purchase and sale agreements, and I have them post it on to 50 something different Facebook groups and make the marketplace listings and go through the land.com subscriptions and you name it, just all the bells and whistles. And I'm there with them. So the first deal we split 50-50. And then the agreement is the first deal that they get organically, we co-list together as well, and we split that. So I get my return on them, break even. They got two deals under their belt. Then they have the confidence. Of course, you're gonna have nuances with every transaction, but 80% of it they've got as a template to use, for the next one. That's kind of what we've done, and that's what I want to do, just throughout the company if we can. I don't know why that's not more popular. I think it's because of the turnover rate, right? With other companies, a lot of agents change brokerages like they change clothes. We've got 100%. Like we haven't had anybody leave yet. And so I think that's a luxury that we have that a lot of other companies don't.
I agree, because I think it's cool that how much you're helping in the field. Again, as someone who went through trainings and things like that as an agent, there's the book world and then there's that real world. There's those things that unless somebody who's thought about it and seen it before shows you in that space, like what you're describing with the drone and where you're going to mark off and to think about how close it is to the hospital and all these little tiny nuances that make a deal more appealing to the end buyer, you don't just know that stuff. You wouldn't even think of it most of the time. You're usually so stressed out about the paperwork and how to fill out a contract that you don't know what else to say or do. So I think that's cool that you're stepping in with them to give them that runway into success. Because I'm based out of Florida and everybody here's got a real estate license and nobody uses it. Like there's so many that fall away. I think the last average I heard out of each real estate class in Florida, which there's a ton, I think it's one out of every class will still be doing it in 5 years. It is
Yep.
the lowest amount. And again, my experience seeing it, unless you're that hard charger and you go force people to tell you, not many environments set you up to succeed that way. So you're describing one where you had that person that knew, they capitalized on your system immediately, found success. And now you have that other side of it where you're giving people that runway into real estate to help them be successful. One thing I love about this industry is it's one of the few tools you can really use in America to change your life with financially. You can completely change your station using this industry.
Yeah. And something I always tell people is find me a single billionaire or even somebody that has a 9-figure net worth, self-made, that wasn't inherited, that doesn't have real estate in that portfolio. I don't know if there's a single one. It's not a coincidence, right? So I don't know. That's something that I resonate with. And, we're talking about this and I'm trying to think about this through the perspective of the listener. And a question that I get asked every time, no matter what, is what's the catch? We don't charge any splits. We don't charge any fees. And so, when something's free, especially in real estate, it's often too good to be true. And so I want to address that skepticism and just, take maybe 90 seconds to explain, how we can do that. If you think about what Robinhood did in the financial services industry, before Robinhood, you had Schwab and E-Trade. If you wanted to buy or sell a stock, you got stuck with flat rate fees every time. And if you didn't have a lot of capital, those would eat you up, if you only had a couple $100 profit. So, and then Robinhood came in and they said, no fees, no commissions, and the industry had to follow suit. So we're trying to be just as disruptive in real estate. And the way that we can afford to do that is through ancillary services. So we get bulk volume discounts as a company. Think of any service that you would want to purchase as an agent, whether that would be a Canva Pro subscription, or you need some yard signs or business cards or some merchandise or closing gifts, you name it. Whatever that company would charge you retail as an individual, we can go to them and say, hey, we got X number of business that we can send you. In exchange for that, can we get a discount? And let's say that we would get a 20% discount on business cards. We would take 10 to 15% of that, and of those savings, pass it on to the agent. So it's still more affordable for the agent than it would be, approaching these folks as an individual. And then we would pocket the 5 to 10% remaining margin. Super skinny, scale it. Same thing with market service agreements with title companies. We have RESPA compliant deals with lenders that we've got worked out. We're looking to joint venture with a title company potentially next year. So you take all that, and we don't need a whole lot from any direction. We started this thing lean from scratch. Our expenses are super manageable. It's sustainable. We've figured that out over the past 15 months, and we're here to stay. So
you're really coming at this from a different direction. I appreciate that. In that space, I like the description of it, comparing it like Robinhood, because where most have just gotten their money a certain way and it's kind of been business as usual for so long in the brokerage space, you've come at it from a whole different viewpoint. What really did that for you? What about it was like, I need to do this?
Yeah, well, I couldn't make sense of the fees I was being charged, and I didn't understand it, and I always assumed that there was more to it. And once I got the little spreadsheet going and I was looking, I was like, okay, it costs $90 to apply for a real estate firm through the Tennessee Real Estate Commission. And then, Alabama's going to be about, that's per state, right? And then you have an Arizona emissions insurance policy. I think ours is like $900 for a year. And we offer that to agents as well, so we can recoup that. And then you got your MLS dues, I don't know, $45 a month if you're a realtor, 60 if you're not. We have to be realtors, unfortunately, because for the agents of ours that want to be, if we didn't have to be, we wouldn't be. We think they're like glorified HOAs for agents. I don't think you get the return in terms of value. I don't think their education is as good as our preferred partners, it seems to be subpar. I think the contracts are kind of sloppy. I've spoken with real estate attorneys, and I think there's some unnecessary liability built into those. And so we've got proprietary contracts that we offer our agents as alternatives. You can use whatever you want. And I guess the third thing is the lobbying side of it. Heck, regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on, they're actively contributing towards stuff that you don't agree with on a regular basis because they have to, right? They have to appeal to both sides and all over the country. And the Greater Nashville Association of Realtors, I was told that they had a pretty big contribution towards getting property taxes raised and the lobbying on that, which hurts everybody. So, I don't know. I mean, the industry's changing and we're here to be a part of it. And we're trying to lead the way on the brokerage side. The associations with the NAR settlement and lawsuit. I mean, I think that there's so much room for growth and improvement, and we want to play a pivotal role in that. And, if we can make a little money along the way, that's awesome. But this is going to be a long uphill thing from a profitability perspective. And so really what I'm trying to do is just create a platform that I wish existed when I was an agent, and try to design something, because I still think like an agent, right? I mean, this time last year, that's what I was. And so I'm trying to build this thing in a way that I would, if I were on the receiving end of it and I wasn't in the brokerage position. So if I stick to that, I really believe that it'll get traction in the momentum. So time will tell.
I agree.
Yeah.
The brokerage space was left the same for a long time. Like nothing changed about it for a really long time. And then COVID did. COVID changed the way that we operate in a lot of industries. I think it's opening that door to make real estate more accessible, right? Because those fees do drive people out of the business. They really do. You can have a tough year and be gone, and all because you got started on a hard market cycle and then got charged a bunch of money where what you thought was a dream ain't a dream anymore. You're back in an old 9 to 5 doing something you didn't want to do. And having folks around like you to just think outside that box and put yourself in that position of that agent again. Because I got a soft spot in my heart for agents. To be a really good one, you got to dedicate yourself to it. You've got to understand the nuts and bolts of so many things. I mean, one of the things the National Association of Realtors did do is the realtor is still viewed as the single most expert on a single family home. A lot of money went into building that. So how do we capitalize on that fact? By training people to be good at it and really providing that value. Because so many just think a realtor, and so many realtors do this, they just get a document, put it in the MLS, and that's it. That's all I got to do, which that's not what all you got to do. That's not even that's just a tiny portion of what that position should include. And it's almost like the old brokerage system steered them that way, where you just got to get in, pay some fees, sign paperwork, put in the MLS, and then you're done. And that's just not the case.
Right. Yeah. And, it's just like any other industry, I don't know, the bad apples give the reputation that everybody else has to deal with and work through and push past. So it's not specific or unique to us, but I tell you, man, my family discouraged me big time when I told them I was going to go this direction. And I still haven't gotten the I told you so moment, but I get it. I know, everybody's dealt with that cheesy guy that it's like, oh man, when you get on the other end of the deal with some of them, it's like, gosh, please do better so I look better to the people that don't know me, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I'm not telling
I
you.
remember an argument in there. People think they're a lot like used car salesmen because so many people act like a used car salesman in the business. And it's understanding just how big of a deal it is what you're doing. That there's a pride in your work that I feel like you're instilling in the agents early to see that this ain't just paperwork and an MLS. Look at all these things you need to think about. Look at all the opportunities that you really have to, whether it's an investor you're working with, end buyer that you're working with, whoever it is, to actually provide value to the transaction and make it a better experience and profitable for all parties.
Yeah. And, as a new agent, what freaks most people out is like, I'm personally responsible for the single biggest financial decision of this person's life, And if you're fortunate enough to be successful, you start to lose sight of that along the way naturally when it's a daily occurrence, right? But if you can just remind yourself like what that's like for a first-time home buyer, or an investor doing his first deal, taking that leap of faith, like, man, I don't know how to instill that other than just, being repetitive, but that's really the core of it. And that's what'll help you take care of folks is, just remember what it's like doing it your first time. And, yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. Final question before we get wrapped up here. What do you love most about what you do?
Well, love's a strong word, man. I definitely, I came from the chicken business. I managed genetic research for Chick-fil-A before I got into real estate. And so I dislike it less than anything else I've done. I don't know if I would say my passion comes from real estate specifically, but it's just from the people aspect and being able to meet folks that I otherwise never would have had an opportunity to get to know, and just being able to make an obvious improvement in somebody's future. I don't know. It's the people. I'm not even a people person, but when the gratification you get from actually helping somebody just on the most fundamental basis, man, it really, it helps you sleep better at night. So.
It does. I couldn't agree more. You get something out of it too. Even when you're not trying to, there's something that comes back to you for that. Sam, man, I really appreciate your time, story, and perspective. If someone wanted to reach out to you and learn more about the brokerage and what you got going on, what's the best way to find you?
Yeah, my personal line is 205-225-4447. I pick up. I answer phone calls. I get to email as quick as I can, text messages. But anytime you got something time sensitive, holler at me, and I'm here for you. Our social media, we got 400,000 members worth of Facebook groups. We got the biggest Facebook group in Tennessee in terms of volume, Tennessee Home and Land for Sale, 215,000 members. Take advantage of that free resource. And then we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, you name it. So looking forward to helping anybody in whatever capacity I can. It doesn't have to be real estate related.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. We'll make sure that Sam's information is in the description below. I think we need more people in this space doing it like Sam's doing it, that real heart for people. And for those of you tuning in, if you got value from this, please like this episode, subscribe to our channel. We've got more conversations coming up with operators just like Sam who are out there building real businesses. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next episode.
Take care.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.